So what is up everyone? Today I will show you how to upgrade your Imac G4 to maximum specifications. So stay tuned. So guys, what you are looking here at is my Imac G4. It has the biggest screen, which is the 20-inch. I went for this model because it is the one with the highest value. It therefore has the biggest processor as well, but I will show you that in a bit. To go with this machine, I use my black G3 keyboard and the black mouse, which I featured the repair guide before. I also have the Harman Kardon speakers that went specifically for with this machine. They have a proprietary dock, which is a shame, but yeah, I have the machine, so it's okay. That just means I can't use those really lovely speakers with another machine, but so be it. So now let's show you the specifications of my iMac. So there we are, guys. We are now on the About This Mac screen, and you can see I'm running Mac OS 10.5.8. That's Leopard, and that is the last operating system working together with the Power Mac PC generation of CPUs. I'm running the big processor with which is a 1.25 GHz PowerPC G4, and I have 1 GB of DDR and SD RAM. That should be 512 MB of DDR and 500 MB of SD RAM. So what will we do with this Mac? So guys, the upgrade potential that this iMac has is quite limited, but I have all the parts that this iMac can handle, and we start off by that. Let's focus in. I'm sorry. So there we go. This is the Airport Extreme card, which you can install in this machine. I don't have it at the moment in. I bought it separately, so that will give me Wi-Fi capability for this Mac. Then I have the RAM. There are two things to say about that. officially, this Mac just takes 1 GB of RAM, split it up into the configuration that I have in it, so 512 megabyte of the small laptop RAM and 512 of big SD RAM, which is DDR1. But unofficially you can use 1 GB each, and that's what I will do. So here we have a 1 GB SD RAM, and here, oh, it's a little bit big. Here we have a 1 GB DDR1 RAM. So the last thing that I will install is this SSD. I'm going for an SSD because of the hard drive that's in this machine is working quite well, but it uses a lot of power and it makes a lot of heat. This is a 128 GB SSD, and it will work just fine in there. It produces nearly no heat, and it will work for the next few decades. At least I think so. To go with that, I have an IDE to SATA adapter to make this thing work. The other benefit of using an SSD in this configuration should be that boot up times should be a bit better, but multitasking and program startups should be a lot faster. It should improve the handling quite good. But to prove that, we will make a start up with the original system in it. As a base reference, I now will make a timed startup. The system I have on it is I newly installed something like 2 months ago. I just use the system as a typewriter and sometimes to surf the internet. I write stuff for university on this machine, and it works like a dream for that. Sometimes I watch movies on it if I'm in the mood for that, but yeah. What I will do later on is I will copy this installation over to the SSD so that we won't have any problems whatsoever. That should make this the startup comparable. So let's do the startup with the original system to have a base reference point. I will stop it after the dock and everything is loaded. So let's do that. I will start it in 3, 2, 1, go. There we are on the Apple logo, after the nice Apple chime. So yeah, this system should boot up quite fast, because it really isn't that old, and yeah, it's not clunked up or yeah. There we are on my background, the dog is up and we're waiting for it, and done. So it's 51 seconds dead. That's really good and really competitive. My Windows machine, which is a few years, where the installation is a few years older, it needs like double the time. Yeah, I maybe should do a reinstallation of Windows, but I don't have the time yet. But yeah, 51 seconds dead, that's really good. I'm quite happy with that. But we will improve that anyway. So let's do the last shutdown of the system in this configuration, which, by the way, is something that Apple does really well. You really can't compare Apple with Windows in this point. Windows needs so much longer. So let's do the shutdown. Zack, and it's over. That really is amazing. You really can't argue with that. So yeah, let's prepare for the upgrade. Okay guys, now I've unplugged everything and I laid the display of the iMac down on a towel, and now we are on the back side, and what we are presented with is, in my opinion, one of the greatest pieces of design Apple ever produced. The iMac itself is a piece of art, but just look at the finish of this bottom plate. You won't ever see it, but it's so lovely. I hope it really comes out on this display. It really is amazing. It is, the finish is really great. I don't know any other device that is finished in a process like that. So yeah, what we have to do is we have to unscrew those 4 screws to get into the inside of this iMac. So I really enjoy this iMac for its design, and yeah, if you have one of those, do the upgrades and you should be happy for another few years of good use of this machine. You really can't use them as a typewriter and stuff like that. As I've already told you, I've written a lot of stuff for the university on this iMac, and I'm really happy with the performance of this machine. So there comes the bottom plate off. The screws, by the way, are held in, so that's quite good. Yeah, and here we are presented with the user plate. Let's have a look in here. Yeah, you can see here, this is the part where my Airport Extreme will go in. Should fit quite snugly in there, and it will use this antenna cable. And in here we have the memory stick, so let's put it out. It should be 512 megabytes. And let's focus in so that you can see it. Yeah, that's written 512 megabyte. We should be able to double that later on. Let's put it aside. So yeah, this this part is the user upgrade part, and to get the real stuff happening, you will have to go inside of that. So we have to unscrew 4 screws around there. They are Torx bits, so you will have to have those, but if you have, it should be no problem whatsoever to get into the inside of this iMac. They are really long screws, and they have a bit of Loctite-tightening grease on them, so this process will need a bit of time. What I have to say is they really fit quite snugly in there. That's a perfect fit from this outer plastic ring to the screws. They really fit perfect in. There is not a millimeter between the screw heads and the plastic outlet. So really amazing fitment from Apple right there. Yeah, and I think it's the small stuff that makes those products really great. The attention to detail really is amazing. You really have to appreciate what you see in here. The engineering is top notch. Also, what's new to me is, and I really find it fascinating, we have some kind of a seal around there to dampen the noise. They've really thought about everything. So we are now on the last screw. Okay, so now we have this here is the optical drive, and right over it sits the hard drive. So what we have to do for that is remove those two screws for this shielding here in front. Out. Screw number 2 as well, with this metal shielding. This drive bay is fixed by 4 screws, 2 in here and 2 there, which we have to put out to be able to get everything like we want it. I really have to say, in here the engineering is just as impressive as from the outside. It's a work of art Apple did with this iMac, which is also called the lamp for obvious reasons. Not quite there yet. I've seen that you can't see really what I'm doing, so I adjusted the camera angle a bit. What I've done is I've removed the first screw of 4 from this drive cage assembly. So number 1 is out. Let's check that you can see where number 2 is. Number 2 is right down here. Those drive bay screws are quite long. You will need a lot of time and turns to get them off. 2 to go. Hope you can see that. Yes, you can. So 1 in here. last one is the one down here. If that's out, that should give us the freedom to get this stuff out. We will see. Should do the trick. Okay, now it's out. Let's have a look if we can get So sorry guys, my SD card just went full and I've lost something like 1 minute of footage, and that footage was yeah, it's not that important. I wiggled the drive cage a little bit about and yeah, it comes out. So we have the optical drive right there, and right underneath this shielding there is the hard drive. It is a 160 gigabyte Seagate hard drive. Yeah, you can see it. Great. Interestingly, it is also put together using Torx bits. That's new to me. Normally those hard drives carriages don't use Torx, they normally just use normal normal Phillips head screwdrivers. So let's put the hard drive out. Two down here. Another one. Okay, now the hard drive is free and I can pull out the Molex power adapter and the IDE cable, which we will later on adapt. Okay, there we go, and let's focus in. There you have the drive. Interestingly, this is not the original drive because there is no Apple logo on it. So somebody in the past has done a lot of work into this machine and put a 160 gigabyte Seagate hard drive in it. So let's do the next step and copy the data over. Okay guys, now the hard drive is in my docking station. This dock has a specialty. It can transfer data from one hard drive to another via a push of a button. I'm not sure about this feature, so what I will do is I will make a disk image of this hard drive and copy that to my normal hard drive, and after that I will try this button right here so that I'm safe. So let's start this hard drive up. Okay guys, now you are on my desktop and we are in Daemon Tools Lite, and I want to image this hard drive. So guys, I thought a little bit about it, about cloning the hard drives, and I came to the conclusion that I won't do that, because yeah, it should be better. It will be easier to do a new installation of Leopard, so I will do that. So let's do the hardware reassembly. Here is my SATA adapter. So let's plug this guy in here. Rolex goes into there. The IDE into there. And the hard drive goes just in there. Okay. As there are no mounting points for that, I will just leave it as it is and try to get everything back together. Maybe I do something about that. After a bit of fiddling about with this thing, it went back in, so that should be good to go. So now let's tighten the screws in there. First screw is in. Let's do the second one. third screw is in, and now let's do the last one. Well, now let's put the shielding back in. So, now after that's done, let's close this thing back up again. You have to pay attention that you don't hit anything. Goes in like that. Then you align the screw holes. And screw this thing back together. So now let's come to the last part of the upgrade. Let's firstly install the new RAM module, which goes in like so. And last but not least, let's insert the Airport Extreme card and connect the antenna. So it should just pop in like so. There we go. Now let's put this plate on. So now the last screw. There we go. Okay guys, now I have everything plugged back in together. So now let's have a start. I have to say, I have the USB drive with Leopard in. So the chime comes, which is a good sign. Yeah, and it says there's no boot drive. That's normal. So let's okay, so what you have to do is you have to press the Option key while starting this machine up to get into the boot menu. So let's do that. Okay, now you are presented with this screen. And there you have to wait. I think I have to restart it. and press C at this time. So welcome back, guys. A lot of things happened between the last clip and the one I'm recording now, and that is because I've run into a big problem. So the last step was that I've changed out the hard drive for an SSD, put it back in and screwed everything back together, and then the problem started to occur. I have an USB stick with OS X Leopard, and I've tried to install it, but the system wouldn't recognize it. And I started to look into it, and I couldn't get it to work. I've reformatted the stick, put another image on it, still didn't work. And I found out the problem is the formattation on the USB stick. PowerPC Macs need the Apple partition map to work, and that is a problem. It's a problem because in my current situation here in my own home, I don't own a second Mac. I just own a Windows PC, and therefore I had to wait a few days and take my Cube G4 Cube, which is the system that I run on at my fiance's home, so that I can write my stuff on when I'm at hers. It is sitting right over here, looking good. Yes, I know it's the wrong side around, but that is because of the USB stick that is hanging out at the bottom. I've connected it via Firewire 400 to my iMac, and then I set the iMac into target disk mode, and then started the the G4. So now let me show you what we are looking at on the G4. Okay guys, there you are. This we are here on my Cube. I run the same SSD in this Cube as on the that I put into the Imac G4. So here we can see the top one. That's the USB drive where the installation disk is on. The second drive that we see is the main hard drive of my Cube, and down there we have another hard drive which has the same storage amount, 119.2 gigabytes, and I've already done a few things to it. So you need to go to partition, then write a name on here, then format it to Mac OS Extended Journal, and then go down into the options and then click on Apple Partition Map. So, and now if I'm going here to partition, everything should be alright. So now down here there is the progress bar, and we are done. That was faster than I expected it to be. And now let's close out of that. We see here is my newly created hard disk in the iMac that is connected via FireWire. Here is the installation disk that I've already opened up. So let's go to installation. There comes the Apple logo. There is no chime because I don't have any speakers plugged into my Cube, so that's okay. Let's see if everything works like we want it to do. So that didn't work as I've expected it to do. So let's do something else. Let's just shut it off. and unplug the main cable, the USB stick. Okay, guys, I've run into another problem, but I think I solved everything. So, the installation via target disk mode didn't work as I expected it to do. So what I did now is I've reconnected the iMac into target disk mode. You can see it over here, the formatted drive, which is coupled via FireWire. And what I did next was, you can see it over here, that is the old drive of the iMac, the original, which has the clean install. So what I did is I connected that directly with the cube. So let's focus back, there we go. So we are now back on my G4 cube. Let's go into disk utility. So there we go. There is the Macintosh HD, which is the old hard drive, and we so yeah, there you if you right click onto the old hard drive, you can go to restore. So now we have to drag and drop the source, which is the old hard drive. Drag and drop it in here, and now where it's going to be, that should be the new hard drive. So now we just have to click on restore and have to wait. So now down here it says it's copying the data of the original hard drive, and that should make the SSD, the internal SSD of the Imac G4, the same as the old hard drive, so everything should work fine, but we will see that later. So I come to you when it's done. So guys, welcome back. That took quite a bit longer than I'd expected to do. It took something around 8 hours to do so. But now everything should be alright, and yes, what I will do is I will do a restart for you guys, and it is the first one. I haven't tried it out yet, so we will do that. So you see, I'm in target disk mode yet, and I will do the restart, and if everything worked, it should just boot up into the old installation. Let's hope for the best. Looking good. So guys, there we are on my Imac G4 using an SSD. Okay guys, now let's have a look if everything worked. So as you can see, there is a Wi-Fi signal up here. Let's have a look if it can connect to my Wi-Fi access point. So yes, the Wi-Fi card works, but my Wi-Fi router doesn't do air port. So yeah, that's a problem, but that will be addressed in a few months' time. So now let's go into system preferences and have a look about this Mac. Yeah, and there it says 2 gigabytes of RAM, and therefore we successfully doubled our RAM. I'm quite happy with that. Let's go into system preferences. You know, we do something else. Let's retime the startup. So let's turn the system off. It's off now. So let's do a system boot up in 3, 2, 1. And done. So it took 52.6 seconds to boot up, which is really good. So, to sum this up, it was a harsh hassle to get this thing to work, but I'm happy that it did. I'm really happy about this process altogether, and the iMac should be safe for the next few years to be my writing tool. So thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.